you uphold tradition today? Hello, my name is Reina and this is Chow and Tell. In today's episode, I want to talk about holding tradition dear to your heart and how we do that in today's modern world. We're so busy, we move a lot, cultures remain the same, but places change. And in all of that confusion, one of the few things I have personally to hold on to are my traditions. And most of those traditions tend to happen in the kitchen. My guest today, please welcome from Persia, Iran, via Toronto, Canada, and now my neighbor in Cambridge, Massachusetts, Setareh. Welcome to the show. Hi, Setareh.
Thank you, Reina. I'm very happy to be here.
I'm so glad to have you on the show, and just really excited to also found out that we live one lane from each other.
That's right.
We met recently. We're neighbors. And yet we both come from quite far away originally.
Yes. So I come from Iran, born in Tehran, and lived in Dubai for a short period of time and grew up in Canada.
Wow.
In Toronto, yes.
So that's a big change, coming from that to this, in weather, in culture, in location.
Weather. Yes. Luckily, I migrated with my family, my parents, my brother. But yes, it's exciting. Yeah. Change is always, I think it's exciting.
Yeah. How long have you been living in Cambridge?
Cambridge, over a year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So about the same. I think we may have moved around similar times.
Yes.
I do want to get out of the way for once. Can we please pronounce Iran correctly?
Thank you, Rina. Thank you.
It's something that it's a personal thing that irks me a lot.
Yes. Iran invokes an action of running.
Iran.
So it's Iran, and we actually confuse ourselves and others by saying Persia. I don't know. I mean, Persia just sounds, Persian cats. It just sounds friendly. If you know Maz Jobrani, you can Google it. There's a joke there. However, Iran.
Well, that's the axis of evil combination. I do remember that.
Yeah.
So Iran is different.
So Iran is actually a very old name, even before the Persian Empire, Greeks, Alexander the Great versus Cyrus the Great. So believe it or not, I didn't know this. I thought Iran was a newly invented. It goes way, way back.
Really?
Yeah, wiki never lies, right?
Our wiki lord.
Yes.
So wow. So Iran, and I believe that you've spent actually more time outside Iran than you have inside, living there. And yet, from the day I met you, you have this absolute authenticity about your Iranianness, if I can call it that. And I really respect that, even though you've moved and you've adapted so well to culture in the West, you've lived for a long time, your husband is also Iranian.
Yes. Same path, actually. He grew up born in Iran, grew up in England.
Really?
Been living in Cambridge area 20 plus years. And I think that's what attracted us together.
Yeah.
So similar roots, but we, been westernized in a good way. So yeah.
But I just love how you have managed to maintain that sort of innate sense of respect for your culture and where you come from.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I struggle with that myself because I've moved a lot, but my roots are in India. And actually, if you go to see most people in this country, in the United States as well, if they go look back, are immigrants.
Right.
Except for the indigenous population that was originally here, which is relatively a small percentage. Most people come from immigrant traditions. So today I think my interest in bringing you on the show was to talk about, upholding traditions and how you've managed to do that. How was it in Toronto for you?
Well, yes, that's the key word, Toronto. There are almost, you don't call me on this, almost up to 1 million Iranian Canadians proudly fully developed. Reina, there are 24-hour grocery shops. What I will show you today are straight from Iran that you can buy 24 hours in Toronto. So yes, that community helped my great parents actually. My father is a very proud Iranian. And just an interesting note that actually you brought up immigrants.
Yeah.
Being an immigrant goes back thousands of thousands. So the Iran that I refer to as Persia was full of immigrants.
Oh, really?
And people don't know this, but Iran is made of many provinces, from Turks to Kurds to, we got Russian. My lovely sister-in-law is Russian. And so we have Russian cooking that we have embedded because, I think culture is alive. And that's what hopefully we'll touch on today, is that it's always, being an immigrant has always been there and it's always provided feedback for that culture. So.
That's great. And like I said earlier, one of the biggest ways for me to uphold traditions is in the kitchen. Something about food and growing up with certain kinds of food that your family makes or your community makes or your culture, culture or your country is famous for. Those are the things that, for me, make me feel very much more connected to my culture and tradition. And Setareh has brought stuff for us today as well. Let's talk about this magic ingredient. In fact, let me actually first dig out of my Mary Poppins bag, if I can find it, a couple of things.
Yes. We should mention our common friend.
Oh yes, how we met. Setareh and I met through a common friend who was actually on the show. She was a guest on the show a few episodes ago. An Lee, who was my yoga teacher and
my yoga teacher as well. Also from Toronto.
Also from Toronto.
Proud Canadian.
Yeah, and actually she has a birthday today, so we're going to embarrass her on live television and say happy birthday. She moved out to California not too long ago, so we're going to send her this episode as a little birthday gift. We're remembering you today.
Yes, and thank you, An Lee, for introducing me to such a lovely chef. For your audience who have not had the pleasure of tasting her food, it is amazing. Beyond average, yes. So.
You are too kind. But today I want to talk about this beautiful berry. Tell us about, I don't know if we can see these from here. I'll show you a close-up in a second. But these are a very particular Persian, Iranian food ingredient.
Yes, the largest producer of barberries. And when you Google it or search it online, you can type in B-A, berries, barberries, or bearberries. Now, I haven't come into why barberry. If you type in barberries, definitely you get the Persian recipes. But it's a shrub actually, right? I'm going to talk to you about how it looks. It's a very, very lovely yellow flower, tiny shrub. So from each stem, probably you'll get 20 little tiny. I would describe it as
small.
As maybe goji berries would be the best way to describe them for our audience, because goji berries has been the latest thing.
Very
you can get
popular
in the juice,
craze
martini,
goji berries.
Yes.
But we don't hear as much about these lovely berries, and they have the Iranian name is Zereshk.
Zereshk, yes.
Zereshk berries or barberries. I'm going to just show you this under the little camera. If you can see this, let me try and zoom out a bit so you can see. They're very small, and if you see, this is my hand for reference. They're tiny. They're smaller than raisins.
Yes. Dried, yes.
And they're dried.
You get them. And let's refer to them as Zereshk. Why not? Because it's more exotic.
That's the word.
Zereshk. Yes. So Iran currently is the largest producer, and you can check the facts as well, of Zereshk. And interesting enough, I did not know, it's the same land that is used for saffron, which we pronounce Saffron. So ZZ, Generation Z, so it's all about Z. But yeah, so apparently the same land, that produces Zereshk is used for saffron. They harvest in the fall.
Yeah.
But these berries, as you know as well, the history of them, they're all around the world.
I was so surprised to learn that. They're through Eastern and Central Europe, some parts of the Mediterranean, Northern Africa, and even in the United States. I found it in the Midwest and some parts maybe of the Northwest United States. Canada even, I think.
Very tough berries, Zereshk. They can survive toughest weather because they can see them in Canada. There you go.
We should try them in Massachusetts and see if they can make it through a winter here.
Now, ironically, I don't know if you searched or our audience can do some research as well. They're very difficult to buy unless it's a Persian store, Iranian store.
Really?
Why? Because I did a little bit of research, which I learned a lot through coming to the show. Most of Europe, if you go back centuries ago, used it for medicinal
That's
purposes.
right. It's a medicinal berry originally.
And the highest ranking of cooking it came up to was jelly and jam.
And I actually found out why, because it has the highest concentration of pectin than most other fruits and berries do. So you actually just cook it with a little bit of sweetener, sugar or something,
Oh,
and
that's
it will
not
gel
bad.
right away without you having to add extra pectin, which for most jams you have to add pectin to have it gel. It's a gelling agent, but this has its own gel.
Excellent. I did not know that,
You learn
Reina.
new things
I know
every
it
day.
tastes amazing, and you're right. With a spoonful of sugar, that's how you cook them.
Now they're very, very sour berries, I believe, which is why actually medicinally they were very popular. And you know, maybe after today's show, goji berries might get moved over a couple of ranks if people start to discover this berry that might even be able to be sourced locally if there's enough demand, because we know a lot of sourcing has to do with demand and popularity.
Yes.
Originally, they have very high antioxidant content and vitamin C. So for cold, respiratory tract infections and such, they're very, very good.
Everything that's bad.
In
yes.
fact, let's show this.
Yes.
Setareh showed me this crazy chart. Actually,
And many more actually benefits. I found out the Native Americans way back had found out it helps with their acne. Now, before you go ahead and
by eating it or by applying it?
What?
Oh.
No, eating it.
Eating it.
It has
High
many
vitamin C?
aesthetics
Oh,
and
wow.
medicinal use. Now, this is not a scientific chart. Let me just put this here. So for our intelligent Cambridge residents, please don't quote us on this as well. However, what you can see is a nicely graphed chart right here. This huge bar is the antioxidant relative to all other berries.
Wow.
The goji berry is actually the third one. Where's my finger? This one.
Yeah.
The third one is the antioxidant benefit of goji berries.
So that's number 3, and it's like way down.
Way down. And then next to Zereshk is pomegranate seeds.
Pomegranate
Yes.
seeds. Let me
So
zoom
this
into
is-
this for a quick
Yes,
second,
you
and I
can
can
zoom
show.
into
This
that.
is really interesting.
Yeah, so
Because the goji berries have been, they had the heck marketed out of them.
and you got raisins and what so forth.
Raisin and then some other things here.
Yes, dried pineapple. Yes, so those.
But up here on top of this list, and like it's just shooting through the roof here,
Yes.
are the barberries or zereshk, the berry we're talking about today.
Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes.
And I've been doing a lot of research lately with antioxidants, actually, because of my father-in-law, who's also a guest in this episode, and dealing with inflammation in the body and antioxidant
Yes.
foods. I should send him some of these.
Yes,
That's
yes,
great.
please do, and I'll help you.
Yeah. So where do you get this? Where do you get barberries here?
What you see today are the actual real thing from Iran, sent by my lovely mother-in-law. So not
Wow.
everyone's privileged for that
Yeah.
service. We got a huge box of fresh pistachios,
Oh,
saffron,
wow.
and Zereshk. However, you can buy them. I'm sure, I haven't found a good store equivalent of Toronto, our 24-hour grocery store. But they are in Toronto. Ask someone, the population of Cambridge does have good Iranian American residents, actually.
Yeah.
So I will find out, and maybe we can provide it on your website.
We'll put a link on the website.
Yes.
And the other thing I wanted to quickly highlight was the saffron, because you mentioned saffron.
Yeah.
I have one packet here. There are many different brands that make it, but
This
essentially
is the real thing.
this is and it's you get a lot tiny
Yeah, you don't want to
saffron
get
as well,
just color, yes.
Yeah, you don't want to get it, colored by food color, but these are little tiny strands. They're very, very aromatic and flavorful, but just a little pinch, because they're also very, very expensive.
Yes.
And they're a prized, they're a prized spice.
Yes, actually, why they're prized is because it's such a delicate flower. It's the inside stem of a flower.
So it's like the stamen, I think.
Yes, that is
the
it.
stamens of
And
the
you have
flowers.
to kill fields and fields to just get a small bunch, and they're so delicate in the right exact condition.
Yeah.
It's just like ice wine. it could be the whole, your whole farm could be ruined
Oh.
if little tiny, too much rain.
Just too much,
So that's why they're very expensive, but they are the most expensive spice. So cherish them and learn properly how to use them. Please do not sprinkle on your dish.
Yeah.
You have to grind them very
grind
finely.
them to a paste.
Yes.
Do you often do it in milk ever, or cream, or in warm water?
No, warm water, definitely.
We've done it in warm water.
Add a little bit of lime. For here, we add sugar for the Zereshk, and you add it. It's great for barbecuing chicken.
Ooh.
So we can have a whole other conversation.
On saffron, because in India we use it as well.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. Indian cuisine,
We call it
Italian.
kesar, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know they use it in Italian cuisine.
And just to bring it back to Iran is the largest producer, but the Spanish, Italian, very fancy restaurants. They always rave about the saffron.
The saffron. Yeah, we use it in we often extract it in a milk base.
Oh, interesting.
Or a cream base, and we put it into sweet dishes, but then they have
excellent.
like a yogurt, like a hung yogurt.
Oh, of course,
thickened yogurt or something.
We have dish with that as well. We actually use saffron in sweets as well, and ice cream. There's a saffron ice cream.
Really?
But it does have, if you not used to it, the scent is strong.
It's strong. Oh, it's delicious.
Apparently, you could get, sort of Lucy in the Sky with it if you have too much saffron.
Really?
I haven't tried it, but it is
too
strong
expensive.
So it is strong stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
It's
Maybe
very
that's why we like it so much.
No, it does some higher power.
Yeah.
So,
Saffron.
and Rita, I just want to confess with my chart, because I always, these marketing scams. So just to add, there are 2 more berries that are even more higher than our lovely Zereshk, which is Spotlight today. So one was I've never even heard of, whortleberry.
Whortleberries.
Whortleberries. So please, do your facts. I just Googled it.
Yeah.
And the most beneficial for just antioxidant is our Indian gooseberries.
Hey, by the way, the Indian gooseberry actually, I believe, is amla. The traditional, the Indian word for it is amla, and it's actually found in a lot of Ayurvedic tonics and preparations.
Oh, fantastic.
I know my parents actually take it regularly. There's a syrup, an extract of it that they, 1 spoonful every morning, and it's very sour.
So that little spoonful will kill all of the antioxidant requirements.
But the goji berries you can cook with, and you're gonna actually. I'm excited to see this dish that you prepared. I want to show it to everyone. It is so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Shall we
Yes,
showcase
I'll
our? Oh, look at this!
It's all about presentation, and I'm
look
sure
at
with
that. This is amazing.
Indian cuisine. So what I can describe it.
Yeah. I'll bring it to the camera for a quick second, and we'll place it back.
So lots of colors.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
This is called.
Look at this.
Yes.
Just look at that there.
So this is a fancy Zereshk Polo. Another version of it you could call jeweled rice.
Ooh, it looks absolutely rich. It's got greens, these kind of like emeralds and ruby.
Yes.
It's gorgeous.
Yes, so you would serve this on, when you have guests over, even like a wedding, that's how you represent your rice. Those green slits are pistachios.
So we've got pistachios, we have almonds. And those are sauteed?
Yes, sauteed in saffron, and onions sauteed in saffron.
Okay, so these are they fried onions, the ones in the corner?
Yes, I say sauteed. One, it
but
just sounds
crispy.
better.
Yeah.
It's just French sauteed. But it's very different from fried. Because, the saute is such a delicate, we'll come to the art of sauteing, because this dish is all about sauteing. The Zereshk is not, if you buy them dried, which always come dried, you cannot use that straight into your dish. It is so sour.
They're very sour?
Yes.
I have not tried one yet, although I have to say there is an Iranian restaurant in Bombay. That's the first time I tried Iranian food, and the first thing I had was probably similar to this. It was a Zereshk Polo, but they didn't call it that. They call it a chicken berry pulao. Pulao for us is the word for a rice dish, which is very close to the word polo.
I'm sure it arrived from the same place.
And it has these sour red berries in it that were very particular to Iranian cooking. Yes. And I believe that was my first taste of Zereshk, and I didn't even know it at the time. Britannia restaurant, which thankfully I believe today is still open many, many, many years later.
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah, but I don't know how they prepare it, because now from this, so if I were to eat one of these
It's very.
very tart?
I just confess, I love sour, and you can modify this, but the proper way. And it's interesting if you look at all the cultures. European used it for medicinal. It was used for jam. If you add excessive, sugar and stuff, I think the Iranians figured it out. I like to. I mean, I try to bring the actual history of how did it arrive from the shrub to someone's meal beautifully. I could not find an answer for you today. Yeah. However, I like to think of a myth that maybe Cyrus the Great was trying to impress his wife-to-be, and he commissioned a chef and said, bring me the most gorgeous looking ruby-like berries. And when the chef tried it out, it was a little bit too sour. And just to bring it a feminine and such a delicate balance, you have to saute it with sugar. That spoonful of sugar goes a long way, and it just adds. But you also add saffron, and I can provide the recipe. You can put it on your lovely website.
I would love to do that. It's so beautiful. We have the crew outside the studio. Everyone's just hovering. They're waiting for this. Their eyes went wide as saucers, just seeing the presentation alone. And there's an aroma that I'm sorry you viewers are not able to get the benefit of, but if you try and make this at home, I'm sure you can enjoy it as well.
And what did I want to tell you? And just to bring it back, and I like to mention my husband because he actually taught me properly, or he retrained me properly how to cook grade rice. Because it just
that's an art.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what do you do?
So the thing about Persian rice, which is so different from all other cultures, it's very much similar to Indian rice, but I think it's still a little bit different. Mm-hmm. So if you take Japanese rice, which I love, and you take Persian rice, they look so different.
Very different.
And it's just the way we cook them. Because first of all, we buy basmati rice, the best rice brand.
Long grain, aromatic basmati.
Yes, invest in good rice. That's where you want to start. And what I like to think it goes back to the roots of the people of Iran and the old Persia is you have to hold the integrity of each grain. So they have to be separated. That mushy rice, which I love, would be looked down upon if you make it with Zereshk
Not with
Polo.
basmati. I think with basmati rice, the beauty comes in each grain being separate, and it's similar in Indian cooking as well.
That's why it's so similar. And also how the way you cook it is how long elongate the grain is very particular. So you get the rice, you get good cooked, but I like to touch it back to modernizing culture. Nowadays carbs are looked down upon.
Yeah.
I even myself was a quinoa girl. And when I got married, came to Cambridge, I was trying to impress my husband. And, he wanted some good rice to go with his Zereshk Polo. And it came in all mushy. Because I had forgotten how to cook proper Persian rice. Yeah. And he taught me how to cook very good rice. So.
What is the secret that he taught you?
I can, again, provide the recipe too. But it's when you first boil the water, you add the rice. Just when a little bit in the middle it's done, when the pasta is just in the middle, but not too much done, you have to take out all the water. You drain out all the water. Yeah, so that's a very Persian way. You drain out all the water, and then you start with your pan. If you get a good pan, heat it up like medium high, and you put back the rice, so now it's all drained out. Add a little bit of oil, and a little bit of saffron if you like, and you close the lid with a cloth on top, so the steams, so it's no longer the water cooking the rice, it's the steam, and just the right temperature. And trust me, it took me months to get back to the rice routine. And another Persian thing which I could not provide today because it has to be fresh off of the stove is the bottom of the pan. That is called tadig. And if you ever go to a Persian restaurant around, just say, hey, bring me a tadig, because they don't bring that for, let's say, non-Iranian.
Oh, really? I think every culture that has rice, there's this idea of the burnt bits. We have it. My mom would fight over the burnt bits. I know in Spanish it's called quemao, which is the burnt part of the rice.
And it's so delicate, you could burn it just like that.
But it's not. Burnt is not even the right word. It's the browned part that gets crispy. Yeah.
So that's why it has to be the right, set of steam condition. It's not that difficult. Maybe I make it sound like.
Well, I've never heard this method before actually, because we have basmati, but we cook it. We don't cook and drain it.
You have to drain it.
But with biryani, there is a way of you tie the cloth on the big the pot, and then it's kind of steaming inside.
Similar.
Yeah,
Very similar.
I will definitely try this method out on rice next time I cook it.
And what I wanted to say is, with my husband, what we do is we love our culture, but you know what? Especially Cambridge is such a vibrant, full of so much good, rich, old cultures.
Yeah.
We like to spice it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is looked down upon on traditional cookers. However, we throw a little ginger when we saute the onions.
Ooh,
A
that
little bit
sounds
of ginger.
delicious.
Yeah, so that's not a Persian ingredient at
Yeah.
all. But we like to play. So, have fun with it. Don't get scared.
I love that piece of advice. Keeping tradition, but also keeping it grounded in today's culture and modern world. Let's have a quick taste of this rice before we run out of time.
Uh-oh, this is Judgment Day.
Uh-oh.
Go easy on
Can
me.
I just dig in anyway?
Yes, just dig in.
This
Mix
is
a
so
little bit of
beautiful.
goodness on.
Some of this, some
Yeah.
of this. I'll take some of the onion. Oh, this is gorgeous. We're going to post this recipe on my website, www.kitchen-intuition.com. Here goes, Setareh. Thank you so much. Will you have some?
Sure.
Oh,
Is it good?
it's delicious. And it's sour, but not like in the most refreshing way. Oh, I'm not cooking dinner today. I'm going to take some of this home.
That means a lot coming from such
Oh,
a great
my
chef.
goodness.
Thank you very much.
And it's so aromatic, and the pistachios, and then you've got the almonds and the
rice.
saffron in there.
Oh,
yeah.
thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing this recipe with us.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you cook every day?
No. Probably once a week, I would say.
Yeah.
Yes, but
I should say actually, Setareh works at WGBH, where she works with the food and lifestyle productions. So she's near food all the time.
that's right. I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
And I get to watch some of the most